It was what? You that way? Okay. Okay. You ready? So I'm ready. Promise Mangum. What's free? What's free? This is a discussion about Juneteenth, the Juneteenth Classic, and what's happening in today's um, current situation. I'm here with the commissioner, Russell Morgan of Showcase Sports Syndicate. As you can see, we have our mask on because we are still practicing social distancing stuff and making sure that we keep everybody safe. How you doing with that?
Good, brother.
Excellent. So, next week, big thing happening.
Next week will be pretty cool, man.
Big thing happening. And Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Independence Day. Yeah.
So it's gonna be amazing. That's what I'm gonna say. But we did decide to come up with this video. We did decide to come up with this segment because we want to talk about what's happening today, how it's impacting our lives as a whole, and what we can do to further the mission and have more accountability and responsibility on all ends. So I guess you go ahead and start off with some of your thoughts right now.
Well, so why the Juneteenth Classic? Anybody that's been around sports, particularly amateur sports, there's always a tournament that's built around some holiday. I can remember going down to the Holiday Classic down at Broughton High School in Raleigh. Saw Penny Hardaway down there back then. Yeah, high school Penny Hardaway was a monster. He was guaranteed to go to the NBA, I promise you. I can remember growing up playing the Labor Day Classics, Memorial Day Classics. Even one of the biggest tournaments in Virginia Beach on the soccer scene is the Columbus Day tournament. Which is fine and dandy. So, just given who we are in the current climate, building this virtual tournament around a celebration that is not quite as mainstream, like Juneteenth. Just seemed to make sense. Definitely an opportunity to maybe introduce to some, remind others of what Juneteenth was and why it's a thing and why it's important and worth mentioning and certainly a special time, particularly Black folks.
Definitely.
So I feel like we're just sort of honoring the point in history that Juneteenth represents, as well as the people that existed at that time, the people that have come down through the generations, fighting for freedoms that the first Juneteenth seemed at least to offer.
Definitely.
And that's, I think that's a point in and of itself, so just like, okay, what is Juneteenth? Is somebody listening like, what in the world is Juneteenth?
Well, one thing I do know is we do have a lot of quick facts that we are posting daily, by the way. That way people can not only understand what Juneteenth is, but also understand the significance, and see it's actually grown since the beginning.
Sure.
So that's one thing I do want to let people know. If you don't catch this live right now, you will be able to see on all our social media platforms. We'll hit some bits of stuff. That way you can go back and do some more research and see, like, it's an awesome way of us celebrating, like I said,
a big piece of our heritage.
Definitely.
You know, I could be honest and say, you know, I've never celebrated Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
It's been only in, you know, recent years that it has even jumped back on my radar as a thing. I've never known anybody to celebrate Juneteenth. I've never been to a Juneteenth celebration.
Definitely.
And so, you know, this has been just as educational for me as, you know, hopefully it is for somebody else.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's cool. You know what I mean? I think that we all could stand to take opportunities to learn new things. And this just happens to be one that, you know, whether we were in the times that we are now or not,
mm-hmm.
It doesn't diminish the significance of it. So, like, real quick, you know, the whole thing about Juneteenth is that the Civil War was over. You know, Emancipation Proclamation has happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lincoln has, you know, stroked his pen and said, you know, no more slaves in the U.S. But, you know, we're talking about mid-1850s.
Definitely.
Or, you know, mid-1800s, actually 1860s. And so, you know, obviously, I tell you, no social media, no phones, no, you know, so it took a while for information to travel.
Definitely.
So by the time the folks that were enslaved in Texas found out about it, it was already a thing.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Over 2 years.
But when they did find out about it, they partied like it was 1999. You know what I'm saying? It was
1899.
Right. You know, it was a jubilant thing. You know. Unfortunately, we know that beyond that, life for them did not look like free.
Definitely.
It did not feel free. It was not free.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't free today.
And that's that nice segue into what's happening.
But, you know, in that moment in time, you're talking about people who could, I don't even know if they could even dream about what free actually looked like, felt like, smelled like, tastes like. But if they could, they experienced it in that moment.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And every year after that, on that day, they went back to that moment to remember the day that I was told that man that has been working me to death all these years has been told that he can't do it no more.
Mm-hmm.
I am free. I'm not quite sure what this is going to look like moving forward.
Definitely.
Today, I'm free.
I'm about to have some fun.
So yeah, you know, unfortunately, that didn't last.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't sit well with the folks who were, you know, formerly, you know, so-called owners of these people. And, you know, as we know, they just came up with some new rules to keep them in a place, many of which, you know, are existing right at this very moment.
Exactly.
But, you know, it doesn't dissuade from the fact that, you know, there was a moment in time where enslaved black people in this country were for the first time able to take a breath and imagine what it might be like to be free. And we, us, them, black people have been searching and hunting and, dying and in pursuit of that ever since.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
So yeah, like I said, Juneteenth is is new to me too. But the idea of it being sort of that first spark, that first sign of hope, is pretty significant to me.
Definitely.
You've heard me talk a lot, Promise. In the line of work that we do, working with folks with developmental disabilities, one of the main things that we talk about a lot is the lack of hope, and how that just has a downward spiraling effect.
Oh, it does.
But we've seen time and time again, when that first little glimmer of hope comes, it's like a whole new world opens up.
Definitely.
And Juneteenth, for me, looking at it now, is representative of that first spark of hope that we weren't going to be dead forever.
Definitely. Definitely.
So it's pretty special. It's pretty special.
It's one of the things that we, like you said, here at the job, always talk about is inclusion. And being included on being free is one of those points that I feel that is something that's relative. We want to have that independence, that freedom to make choices. We might need some help, but we want to have that, be able to make those choices. So that's one of those things that
And I mean, the segment, the title of this segment, I mean, it's a big question.
Yeah.
What's free?
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is free? When we say, freedom, what does that mean? Is it obtainable?
No, and that's 100%.
The cynic in me kind of feels like, in order for somebody to be free, somebody else can't be free. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's because that has been the experience, for me and us in this country, that other people's freedoms have been secured by the lack of freedom of other people. And that those people who now experience what freedom is are fearful that their freedom would be impeded if they were to give you the cheat code of how to experience freedom too.
Gotcha.
So, I feel as though they may be protective of their freedom in that way, which I think is foolish. Well, maybe it's not foolish. I think that it is, it's certainly selfish to think that in order for somebody else to be up, somebody else has got to be down.
Gotcha.
But that's what our experience has been.
So what are your feelings as far as in today's climate with what's happening? Because it seems a little swift, but you've also seen a long back catalog of stuff that has been happening. And all of a sudden now it's like policies are being put into place now, or there are different things that are being put into place now versus what happened as little as 2 years ago. What's your take on that? Now, and like I said, if it's
I've been thinking about this for a few days, and I know everybody has a lot of opinions. Um, a lot of us are just typing away on our phones, Twitter and IG and Facebook, just kind of putting our stuff out there. And I think, not having sort of a unified voice is not helping. But, as I've been thinking about this, where my mind has gone to, and this is going to sound crazy, my mind has gone to what other group of people do we know of that at some point in time looked around at their situation, said that there is another group of people in this country that are impeding us from fully living life the way that we want to, and we're going to do something about it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Who am I talking about?
I believe we had this conversation a little bit earlier, but wasn't it the South?
Yes.
Wasn't it the Southern states?
That is who I've been thinking about for the past couple of days. So you go through, you got Lincoln getting elected as the president, and they already know, like, this dude is likely going to be trying to abolish slavery. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I think that a lot of times when we talk about, or when we think about slavery, a lot of us have roots and 12 years a slave and, sort of these cinematic views that have given us these visuals of the horrors of slavery, which is real. Mm-hmm. The murder, real. The kidnapping from Africa, real. The transatlantic voyage, stuck into a ship, naked, chained together for months, real.
Yeah.
People never making it across, real. People jumping overboard to keep from having to go to whatever that is, real. Mm-hmm. Landing here, being sold off from family, sold off from tribesmen, so that you couldn't even communicate because of the language. That's real. The rapes, real. The hangings, real. The beatings, real. All of that is real, right? Why are they doing all of that? The entire economy of the South was built around slavery.
Yeah.
Go to any business up and down this street and ask them what is the biggest cost that they have or the biggest expense that they have as a business. Mm-hmm. It's payroll. It's payroll.
That's it.
Do you know how much money I would have if I didn't have to pay nobody to do this? So imagine if I started this business and I wasn't paying anybody. Mm-hmm. And I built my entire life. In fact, it ain't just me. It's everybody up and down this street has built all of our situations, our home life, our kids' life, our social life. Mm-hmm. Is all built around an economy that is based on zero payroll costs. And then all of a sudden, these cats up here are like, yo, we ain't gonna let you do that no more. Yeah. Y'all have to start paying for it.
Gotcha.
You're talking about messing up my whole way of life, right? Mm-hmm. You are now telling me that I can't move the way I want to move, that you're going to pass some laws that are going to keep me in a place, whatever. What did they do?
Seceded.
They said, you know what? We're going to make our own country. We're going to call it the Confederate States of America. We're going to secede from the rest of these cats. We got our own president. We got us a capital. Mm-hmm. We got us a Congress. We got a constitution. We got some songs. We got a flag. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow. When these people felt like the country that they were a part of did not care, were not concerned with now mind you, not a endorsement of their way of life. I'm just saying it was their way of life.
Yeah.
This is what they do. And the point I'm making is that whatever their way of life was, whatever their culture was, the country had decided that they weren't going to let them be that.
Gotcha.
What did they do? They seceded and went to war.
I'm down for this.
Went to war. Like dead war.
Yeah.
Bullets. Not sit here, fuck y'all. I don't like this shit. Nah. Real cannons, real swords, real blood.
Yeah.
So, with that as sort of the lens that I'm looking at this through, it's hard for me to imagine how black people and other people of color, but specifically black people,
Mm-hmm.
how we get to free within the current sets of systems.
Mm-hmm. Systems. Not just one.
Because we can't just talk about police brutality and think that if you can solve that problem, oh, we're good now.
Gotcha.
No. You talk about police, now you gotta talk about what crime.
Yeah.
Right? There's problems there. There's systematic problems built into crime. You talk about crime, you can't not talk about poverty. Some systems built in there to undergird that.
Gotcha.
You want to talk about poverty? Well, we're going to have to bring somebody in to talk about education.
Gotcha.
We'll talk about education. Now we got to talk about health care, access to it. Why some people go to the hospital emergency room,
Mm-hmm.
get CAT scans, MRIs, specialists. Some people get 2 pops of Motrin and a Band-Aid and get sent on their way. For coming in with the same presenting situation.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
then if you're going to talk about any of that, you definitely got to talk about the economics.
Definitely.
And so, yes, it is systems. It is systems. And there are people, and there are organizations, there are corporations, there are people whose way of life, again, their way of life is built around the success of these systems.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult for me to see that path. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you were to look at it like, okay, system's not going to self-correct. It's not gonna be progressive to the point that there's some significant change or inclusion or whatever these things that we're talking about would be positive outcomes.
Gotcha.
I think sometimes when something's broke, you just got to throw that shit away and go get you a new one.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
No, gotcha. 100%.
So what throwing away these various systems looks like and replacing them with new ones, I think those are legitimate questions to be asked. I think those are the questions to be asked.
Gotcha.
I see some of the, the police departments around the country making some changes, mayors making proclamations, and, chokeholds, here in Greensboro, being declared, like all of that's great. Like that is certainly positive. Mm-hmm. I'm certain that somebody's life will be saved as a result of it.
Definitely.
That's cool. You know, every life is important. You know, every person that doesn't have to die for no reason is a win.
Definitely.
But I don't think that we can get rocked to sleep either.
Exactly.
You know, I've seen
that a couple times.
Some of these, and I won't even call them gestures because, you know, that's suggestive that it is sort of patronizing and you know, that type of thing. I'm gonna just say that the solution that's put forward, mm-hmm. while it has some positive results, it don't fix the problem.
Gotcha.
And I just, you know, I'm worried that we'll start looking at this stuff and thinking that we're seeing wins, but in the grand scheme of things, mm-hmm. You know, we've only really scratched the surface, gotcha. And we've kind of retreated back to a posture of comfort.
Exactly.
And before you know it,
we're back.
We got a whole new set of people in these positions in a few years, and they just go, you know, repeal it back to what it was. Definitely. And keep right on moving.
Yeah. So we talked about the freedoms. We talked about why Juneteenth is so important to us. We talked about the climate a little bit of now, and we've touched on the future. What is the biggest thing as an individual? What can we do right now in order for us to A, be aware of what's happening, B, maybe be a change for that, be a catalyst for that change, and C, really look at some of the stuff that we're doing, not for clout. You know what I'm saying?
I hate clout.
I know. But I'm just saying, like, not really for clout, but to really do to make an impact on people. You know what I'm saying?
So here's the thing, man. I applaud anybody that is willing to, you know, go out, put themselves, you know, presumably in harm's way, you know, by way of protesting. You know, fortunately here in Greensboro, you know, things haven't seemed to reach such a feverish pitch mm-hmm. as they have in some other areas that has, and you know, because of that has not resulted in the numbers of people getting hurt. Gotcha. And you know, I'm happy about that. You know, I don't want people to be hurt. I don't want people to you know, to be arrested. You know, I might get arrested and, you know, can post bail. Mm-hmm. You know, today somebody gonna get arrested and can't post bail, and you know, you mess around, then you got another, you know, a man broader type of situation. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I hate that people. I hate that those are the results sometimes, but I applaud people for being in and of themselves committed to mm-hmm. their thought process to say this is what I'm led to do.
Yeah.
I feel like because technology is what it is, social media is what it is, that there's so many voices. Mm-hmm. Like, if 1,000 people walk in here and just start talking right now, at some point it doesn't matter what anybody is saying. Mm-hmm. They could be saying the most profound shit you've ever heard in your life, but you're gonna miss it because you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't pull that one voice out of the crown of 1,000 voices.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And to somebody else that's trying to listen, what does 1,000 people that's talking at the same time sound like? It sounds like noise.
Exactly.
You know? So I really wish and I'm hopeful that there is a singular either in an individual or an organization leadership that can come together, that people can sort of funnel all of this energy into, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So that the true impact, you know, it's power in numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, what's the thing about, I hit you with a finger, you know, you got to ball those fingers up into a fist.
Definitely.
To actually have the impact of those 5 fingers.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha.
And so somebody or somebodies that can galvanize the energy, galvanize the resources, galvanize the networks into one collective, impactful, funded
Yeah. Organization almost. Like,
is I don't see how widespread impact is made without. I just had a conversation with one of the guys yesterday, and it was interesting to me. It's interesting to me how much difference me being 44 years old, talking to somebody that's 30 is.
Yeah. A 10-year difference.
Those 14 years of difference become apparent when we start talking about stuff like this. I grew up in Ebony Jet magazine era.
Gotcha.
I'm looking for this to come every month. When Jet comes, I'm turning straight to the centerfold.
Gotcha.
Check her out. I'm going to the back to see what top 20 singles, top 20 albums are.
Exactly.
Right? Then I'm slide back into the front and now see what's going on in the back. I mean, I'm just being honest.
Gotcha. Exactly.
Centerfold, music, now we're looking at this news. But it was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was that one voice, that was that one place that I could go and kind of see, what was there. And there was a lot of information there.
Definitely.
Right?
Well-rounded information. Let me say it like that too.
And that's true.
But
being, growing up in the 80s, moving into manhood in the 90s, that was a pivotal time, because, I've got parents, our parents were 60s.
Yeah.
That was when they were coming through into their mess. So when we're talking about the civil rights era, we're talking to our mom and dad about it.
Yeah.
This ain't history book stuff for us.
No.
This is my daddy, X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? And certainly grandparent. You know what I'm saying? So our perception of it was a little closer to home.
Oh yeah.
So back to the conversation I was having with the young man yesterday, we were talking about the Black Panthers, right? I was amazed to find out that the fella thought that the Black Panthers was like an Oakland thing. You know what I mean?
Oh really?
And it's like, Oakland was definitely where it was at, but like Black Panthers were everywhere.
I'm gonna give you a shameless plug real quick. Check out one of my videos on Pop-Up Podcast. I actually interviewed a Black Panther. He lives in Winston. We actually did the show at the Black Panther's house, the little meeting place. So it was really, really interesting. They have it. It's like a little museum type deal. They have pictures of some prominent Black people that's in Winston. They have everything laid out, and they are still actively doing stuff out there too. So it's really cool, to see history like that in real time. But it's also kind of like you said, thrown off because you're saying somebody that's 30 thinks it's just an Oakland thing.
No, but the thing is, I mean, I tell you what, these men and these women were organized
Oh yeah.
enough. They were resourced enough. They were weaponized enough that the federal, the FBI, like, they took them seriously.
Definitely.
They took them very, very seriously. They knew they were not somebody to take lightly.
And I think a lot of people keep forgetting because they were doing so much stuff. These were kids. They were 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
25-year-olds. Like
that was a senior leadership.
Like
25.
You like, yeah. So like you're talking about making a change at a very young age.
Well, I mean, if you look, even all through the civil rights movement, I mean, the biggest stuff, you name anything that happened in any city, Atlanta, Montgomery, Birmingham, Greensboro.
Here.
You are literally talking about 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Front lines, a lot of college students.
Mm-hmm.
That was really where the real boots on the ground. And it's it's a lot of reasons why that was the way that it is. But it's true. I mean, these were young people who, had positions and assignments and
they took it seriously.
These are, I am the field specialist for the Birmingham office.
No, I mean, but they took it seriously.
And so I think that one of the things, sometimes it seems like these conversations get long-winded and just sort of rehashing the stuff, but like it's worth noting that because there may be some young person out there that's got great ideas that doesn't feel maybe empowered to step up with them.
Exactly.
So for you to put in front of them, and you do realize that most of the names that you know from the civil rights era, they were your age kid, maybe that, and we can't lose that. We cannot lose the historical perspective. Like, and that's, I got two teenage kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like Obama era kids.
Definitely.
Most of their life, Obama was president.
Yeah.
Right? And what I've seen, like with them, not just my kids, it's kind of like that era of kids. It's like they've almost gotten tricked into thinking that this racism stuff and prejudice and inequality is like old news.
Yep.
Like they think we done made it.
No, and it's not even a joke like that because it's like
Black History Month, yeah. But I grew up at a time where Black History Month, everybody was showing up at church with African attire, and it may have been the only time you ever wore it all year. But it was a day to bring it to the forefront so that we didn't forget about it.
Definitely.
Because ain't nobody else going to keep it on the front page.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
It's just like being in like SEO on Google. Like if ain't nobody keep clicking it, you was on page 1, now you on 5, now you on 22. At this point, it's gone.
Page 2 is where everything goes.
It's gone. So there's a lot. There's so many levels. And to answer your question, everybody don't have to try to figure out how to be Martin Luther King. Everybody try to figure out how to be Malcolm X. You don't got to go and get 3 of your friends to be the next Greensboro 4. Do something. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I told the boys yesterday, if you, and this is my opinion, but if you were good with going out to every one of these protests from this weekend, when it was 90 degrees outside, right? Then you should have no problem sitting around for a couple of hours on Tuesday in the middle of October when it's 65 degrees outside, helping register new votes. If you willing to stand in line, you know, to get these Black Lives Matter t-shirts I was giving away the other day, when it was 90 degrees, then standing in line at this poll should not be a problem.
Definitely.
So what's that? It's like keep that same energy.
Definitely.
You know, we do need a centralized, standardized brand of leadership on these issues, I believe. But you know, like we spoke about in our last staff meeting, you know, older folks like us, like getting these kids and making sure that they are aware of their history that is bigger than Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, that is so much richer, that they got so much to be proud of. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna stop talking for a minute because my mouth is getting dry. But I went and saw T.D. Jakes speak. I think it was early this year, in the last year, right?
Gotcha.
And he said something that I never thought of, and I want to say it because I know I never thought of it this way. But when I heard it, it was just it was an amazing thing to take in. So, you know, we talk about these Europeans going over to Africa and stealing these Africans out of the country and putting them on these raggedy ships and bringing them, you know, months travel over the Atlantic Ocean to America, right?
Yeah.
And what he pointed out was that, you know, they would go into Africa, kidnap people, right? They would then put them in. The only thing I think to equivocate to is a prison, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a huge holding cell, waiting on the ship to come. Same, similar conditions as what was going to be on the ship. So you're talking about thousands and thousands of people that died at that point. At that point, having never even made it out of Africa yet, right? Then you get all these thousands and thousands of people onto these ships. People, you know, sick, you know, become sick, and, you know, it's all these bodily fluids and you know, people die, you know, coming over. People, just lost and jumped off the ship, and then they get here and just subjected. So the point he was making was that the ones, you know, because sometimes I've seen that people, like even people say, oh shit, I couldn't have been no slave. It had killed me, right?
Definitely.
It almost as if to, you know, suggest that like these people were weak in some way. But what T.D. Jakes pointed out was that after months of being stuffed like sardines and beaten and stuff in these holding cells in Africa, then after months of making it over on, like the people who actually landed here and went into the service of the slave owners, they were the baddest people in Africa. They were the survivors. They were the warriors. Like they were the ones that literally beat all odds. So to say that then those are the people that we're actually descended from, being the coldest folk that Africa had to offer. not the weakest. These was the strongest.
Definitely.
Because if they weren't, they'd have never made it. They'd have never made it out the holding cell.
That's right.
Definitely not on shit ride.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? That's our lineage. That's our heritage.
Definitely.
You know, that's what we really like. People say, man, we come kings and queens. Man, I get that. Everybody in Africa wasn't a king. Everybody in Africa wasn't a queen. Now, in our minds, do we carry ourselves as kings? Yes, but like literally, that tribe has one king, one queen. Everybody else is not the king or the queen. You know what I mean? And everybody ain't descended from them too.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But it is true that who we are descended from are the strongest, the most willful people. And that stuff is in our DNA.
Definitely.
You know? And we got a responsibility. We say, like, what can we do? We got a responsibility to make sure that these kids, these young people, these young adults, that they know that. You know, they need to know that kind of stuff. They need, you know, who was, you know, Lewis Latimer, who was George Washington Carver, and it's like we throw that stuff out so much that the significance of it gets lost.
Definitely.
Like these are people that, you know, they wasn't at MIT.
Exactly.
You know, these are people that were putting things together from the scraps that they had available.
Real entrepreneurship.
You know, you know what I'm saying?
Real entrepreneurship.
So it's like, yeah, you need to know this.
Definitely.
You know, a lot of people that's got younger kids, like my younger kids' ages, you know, we always say like, you know, until Trump became president, like my kids didn't know anything but a black president.
Understood.
Obama's in it 8 years, so like all they know is a black president. But that is significant. That is significant. Because until that point, thinking that you were going to be a president, I mean, I've seen so many comedy sketches pre-Barack Obama that talk about the possibility of a black president.
Head of State was...
And it's like, nah.
Yeah. No, I think what?
They ain't work.
Head of State was 2004, 2005? The movie with Chris Rock?
Yeah.
It was like right before it really became, became that.
Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, they all, they all had, bits in their sets that were like, sound good. They ain't all happen. So for it to actually happen, it just opens up, it's exposure.
Definitely.
If you can see it, you can be it. That's the truth.
Definitely.
But if you don't know that it exists, how can you aspire to it?
Exactly. No, exactly.
If you don't know what an astronaut is, you can never aspire to be an astronaut. But as soon as somebody makes you aware of what one is, this is something new you can add to your list of what you're going to be when you grow up.
Definitely.
Definitely. And definitely if you see, what's my man, Ron McNair, and he looked like your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Oh, well, shoot, it's even that much more believable. So, it's a lot, man. We need to be encouraging, these kids to on some for real career paths.
Yeah.
We need black lawyers. We need black judges. We need black people in politics, but we need black police chiefs. We need black hospital administrators.
Definitely.
We need black corporate leaders.
Definitely.
That are in real positions to make, to put real things in place. And we need to be pushing folks and supporting people to go and do that.
Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
Everybody don't have to be Martin Luther King, bro. It don't take that. We wasn't one of them. But we have got to collectively harness the power that we have.
Gotcha.
Because we have it. We have it.
And I think that's just one of those biggest things that, I know we talked about this.
I ain't about to see you talk to you all day.
I know, we got to roll. But one of the biggest things is just making sure creating that, not just platform, but maybe pulling together some of the resources, like you said, and having somebody really do speak on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need that, we need that. And I think a lot of people want to be those leaders. So it's like, how can you make that happen without everybody trying to be that leader type deal? But that's a conversation.
Yeah, I'm saying that's somebody else's problem.
That's another conversation. But like I said, hey, we're talking about what's free, the discussion. Don't forget June 19th, the Juneteenth Classic. Play on your own stuff. Play on your own goal.
Just tell them real quick. I don't even think we've even plugged ourselves.
We have it.
Juneteenth Classic.
Juneteenth Classic.
Bank shot.
ATM Bank Shot.
I'm going to go and say, and if they go online and prove me wrong, then at least somebody's listening. The world's first and only online street ball shooting competition.
That's it.
I said, prove me wrong. If you out there and you doing a virtual online street ball shooting challenge, I want to see it.
Competition.
I've been looking for you.
Competition.
I ain't seen it yet.
This is not no drills. A lot of people think that we're talking about drill stuff.
No, we're talking about competition. We're talking about cash.
We are.
How much money do you think people have won over the course of since we've been on? What they call it? I don't know. What we call it. What is it? Under stay-at-home orders?
Yeah, under the stay-at-home orders, about $1,100.
$1,100.
It's about $1,100.
Wow.
It's not a joke. These are real people, real players. Students, real people who actually just came out. They wanted to get out the house for a second, trying to find a place to play. These are legit folk. We're not just playing around. They are actually listening. They logged on. They registered, and some of them they just showed up on the Zoom call. And guess what? They took a shot and won because they didn't have nobody to contest them.
That was sad.
It's very tough. But hey, guess what? We have to honor what we have because it shows consistency and it shows that we are really playing out here to win. So,
and the bottom line, the whole thing is we just created it as a place where people could go and wild part, still be together in competition. People that have participated, found it to be challenging. It's the people that showed up thinking they were going to win real easy and didn't. People all age groups, levels of ability. The game of horse is a tricky game, and people have been finding it out the hard way.
Definitely.
But it's been a lot of fun. The Juneteenth Classic is going to be our last bank shot event for now. As the world is starting to open back up, we're going to start getting back to some of our more primary programming through the Showcase Sports Syndicate, the inaugural season of the One League.
Yep.
Which would be interagency league for agencies that provide support services for people with developmental disabilities. As is everything with Showcase Sports Syndicate, it's all inclusive, meaning if anybody shows up and wants to play,
exactly.
Whether you were in the NBA last year or never picked up basketball or football or kickball or volleyball in your life, we got a spot for you. And not only do we have a spot, we've got a system that guarantees high competition, alongside high participation. I didn't think of the word. You know, we where the buck stops on that, buddy. So we're ready to get back to it. But I certainly want to invite everyone, anyone, next Friday, Juneteenth. Go to atmbankshot.com, register. All you got to do is have phone, tablet, laptop. All the competition, we broadcast on live. And the winner's going to walk away with some money.
Definitely.
What else am I going to say?
That's it. We'll definitely see you next week. Stay tuned to all of our social media posts. That way you can learn more about Juneteenth. You can learn more about Showcase Sports Syndicate, the One League. You can just learn about all that. Promise Mangum, Papa Podcast, NC Future of Sports, Showcase Sports Syndicate. Hey, be free. Freedom.
Ask yourself what being free means. When you come up with an answer, that's when that's when you start moving.
Definitely.
What does free mean? That's what it is. Boom. That's what I'm going to get.
That's it.
Feel me?
Definitely.
All right, man.
I'll definitely I'll see you on the court then. Well, we'll see everybody on the court.
We'll be out there.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.